Welcome to the Principal Podcast, where we talk about how the best professional services firms grow. Whether you're looking to scale your firm or learn from the stories of founders and leaders who've done it, you're in the right place. Join us as we interview the best leaders in professional services. Let's get on with the show.
Hey, we're lucky this afternoon to be on with Gabe Lullo, who is the CEO of Alleyoop. Love the name of his company, and Gabe's going to share with us a lot about what they do, how they do it, and how it can impact a lot of you who are listening in your business development. So I always like to start off, Gabe, with please share with us your background. How did you get in sales and into the concept of creating Alleyoop? Please share that.
Wow, how I got in sales. Well, I guess that was at 11 years old. I promise this is not a long story.
That's okay. That's okay.
But I grew up in a blue collar town in upstate Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
And everyone in my family had to lift heavy things, smell like fish at the end of a shift at the restaurant, or get hurt on the job. And
Oh, wow.
and so I thought the only way to make money is to get hurt or to lift heavy things.
There you go.
And I was 11 years old, and I did a fundraiser to support a local charity, and I sold 150 T-shirts, and it was the record in the school. And I'm like,
There
oh my
you
God,
go.
I can make money and talk. This is incredible.
There you
So that's how I got into sales, really.
Wonderful. That's a good
But
story.
fast forward, right out of college, I got into staffing and recruiting.
Okay.
Just looking for a sales job. They took a chance on me, and grew up to the top of that company. And then I came over here at Alleyoop about a decade and a half ago. And
Okay.
so what we do now is, as the CEO, we look for companies that are looking for us, and we do sales development for them.
Okay, cool. And thus the name, no doubt, Alley-oop. And I had a chance to speak briefly with Gabe prior. It's a basketball known name for lobbing a pass. And if you watch the NBA playoffs, it was something that Victor Wembanyama perfected to be able to get the alley-oop and put it through the basket in a dunk. So Gabe, tell me more about the name. I mean, it had to come from some reason in your background and or your family. Tell us about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Sales is a competitive sport. It's a contact sport. The more you contact, the more money you make. There's a lot of transferability when it comes to being competitive and being self-motivated and working on a team and practicing and honing your skills. And all of the same things I just said could describe sales, and it could also describe a sports team, right?
That is
And
exactly
so
right.
we really take that and run with it. And the concept of what we do is we set up, just like you said, we set up those leads, we set up those wins, and we look for the right time and the right perfect moment so our clients can come in and close the deals. So the analogy is real simple. We throw up the lead, we throw up the prospect who's at the right place at the right time in their business, who is eager to be interested in a conversation, and we source those and find them and create them. And then the clients come in and take that lead and run it across the finish line. And that's our lane. So we don't move it out of that lane. We don't get in the way. We
Right.
create those sets, and we alley-oop leads over to the client.
Well, when you shared you had a family background in basketball, as well as your daughter in volleyball and et cetera, whether
Yeah.
you set up the spiker with a nice set point piece
Yep.
and or the pass to the guy going to the basket or the woman playing basketball getting ready for a layup, that's what it's all about. I love that analogy. It means a lot to me.
Thank you.
So what problem do you help your clients solve, do you feel, and why is that important to you personally to be able to provide that?
Yeah, there's really three reasons why companies come to us, and the big reasons is their stage in their business.
Okay.
So we have a lot of startups that say, "I'd rather build than or I'd rather buy than build a sales development function."
Okay.
So they're coming up to us with an idea, a product at infancy stage, and we are their entire appointment setting function for them,
Okay.
and that's where we come in. Other companies come to us and say, hey, we have a team, but it's just not operating at the level we were expecting. So they need augmentation, they need fixing, they need solutions to really take it and pivot to what they're currently doing. And then we have those big enterprise companies that come to us and say, everything's working, but we have a capacity problem. We don't have enough resources to actually execute what we're looking to do. So we need to just pour fuel on the fire. And then they come to us, we come in and really add to what they're existing doing right now. And that's how we offer solutions to our clients.
It's kind of like almost a manpower related issue in the last one where they
Yeah.
can't handle anymore. They bring you guys in for the overflow or the overload to help them
Yes.
So you've got to learn their system and things like that, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Tell me about who your ideal clients are. I mean, if you look at, okay, I want to go myself, prospect, I'm Alleyoop, and I want to get clients. How do you do that and go after people that decide to work with Alleyoop?
Yeah, so we're always business to business. We don't work in any other realm. We're really great at LinkedIn. So if you're looking to source contacts who are on LinkedIn, we are best in class there. But our sweet spot, our bread and butter is the phone. We make
Okay.
45,000 sales calls a day.
Oh my goodness.
So we literally make well over 1 million calls a month. And you see a lot of lead gen or appointment setting firms, and God bless them, but most of what they're doing is just sending emails and sending emails and sending more emails. Our sweet spot has been and always been is that human element to a phone call. Now, is it more expensive to do? Yes, but it's also significantly more valuable. So if you have a situation where an initial phone call is the best way to cut through the noise, to qualify a lead, to impress them and get them curious enough to learn more, then that's where we would live, and that would be an ideal prospect for us.
Okay, and now with that being said, because that strikes a curiosity to me, 45,000 calls per day. How big is your
Correct.
team?
Yeah, we have over 120 appointment setters that work for our company full time.
Okay, so they're in a call center. They're
Yeah.
doing
Well,
outbound.
actually, they're working. Everyone works from home,
Oh,
ironically. So no one is physically in a call center.
okay.
Everyone is independently working remotely from home, based in the U.S. But they do sit on a virtual sales floor, so they are a part of a community. They are working together with a manager. It feels like an office. It
Right.
looks like one, but they all dial in remotely, and then they work on a sales floor virtually.
That's pretty cool. And then the managers are monitoring the call, looking for things that
Yep.
are being done properly or incorrectly, and they correct the behavior. Um, I'm very familiar with a model similar to that, but not at that scope. You've got a giant scope there. So they find you primarily on LinkedIn and or satisfied clients refer someone to you, I would imagine.
That's
Um,
right.
and your current acquisition channels of all of them, which one yields the biggest return? Would it
I would say
be
that.
social media? I apologize. Social media or referrals, webinars you do, seminars? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I'm doing a webinar tomorrow morning. I
Okay.
do a lot of podcasting to what you do.
Okay.
I've done 500 guest spots over the last 5 years, so I'm doing a podcast at least every other week,
Okay.
which has been a great new channel for us, and we love it. Social, again, LinkedIn. There's a lot of salespeople on LinkedIn, so our target market are chief revenue officers and VPs of sales,
Okay.
and they are very much themselves on LinkedIn trying to look for their own business. So we
Right.
find them there. And then, of course, again, picking up the phone, we drink our own Kool-Aid. So we do what it is we do for our clients, for ourselves, and we make a lot of phone calls for ourselves every single day.
So you create your own lead gen in that aspect, trying to get sure you get clients in.
Yep,
Is that the
exactly.
biggest capture one, the one on the phone? Is that your biggest success hit versus
So
LinkedIn or?
here's the exact breakdown. So 40% of our new business comes from LinkedIn social content.
Okay.
20% comes from referrals and revenue partners.
Okay.
And then the other 40% comes from straight cold outbound.
Okay. Wow. I mean, that's a those are good numbers, 40, 40, and 20. So you've got it analyzed so you know exactly where to put your resources if you need to into those distribution channels. Um, Sometimes it's difficult in the industry of sales, and I've been in it for 50 years. I mean, I started when I was a young man. So, little bit of experience on you there, but I mean, I love what I do, and I imagine you do as well. You gotta have a passion for it. So
Yeah.
when you are doing a prospect from initial contact to where they agree to go forward with you, what's that selling cycle look like?
Yeah, so first off, we have to build a list, right? We have to know who we're reaching out to. So
Okay.
we take our clients through that list building process, and it comes from various sources. It could be existing lists that they have, and we're enhancing those and enriching those. Whether it could be tracking visitors to their website, so we
Okay.
know who's actually looking at
Clicked
their
in, yeah.
information. Yep, and then it's straight up cold list from pulling contact information based on their ideal client profile. So we go through an assessment and we figure that out. So we start the list process would be step one in the sales cycle. Step two is doing messaging and outbound, starting those conversations, reaching out, having authentic, qualified conversations, asking the right questions to make sure they're the right person at the right time, and then and scoring them accordingly. And then our goal would be to book a physical call with the client and the prospect together.
So it's a
And so
three-way call.
we would do it. Typically, it's a Zoom call where it'd be like a video conference. If they're selling something visual, if it's not, it could be an audio call.
Okay.
But usually, we're directing them to a live interaction, whether it's on a Zoom or Teams call or just an audio call with the client.
So you engage with the client. You've got your people on there as well. So there are three parties involved. If you believe that it's like there's a click and they're going to talk, do you drop? Is it a warm transfer, or do you stay on the entire call?
We just do the introduction. So our job is obviously we want people to meet. We want to make sure that they're showing up. We're responsible to ensure that they are a completed meeting.
Okay.
And we'd like to, of course, just like you would at a physical conference, hey, this is, Dennis, so
Yeah.
this is Joe, and then get out of the way. So
Got it.
that's what we do. We broker that introduction, and then
Okay.
we peel off so we can go make more calls and find more leads.
There you go. Well, you got to get back there and dial for dollars, man. I mean, that's what it's all about. So when you work with a client to get
Yeah.
them to come back, you track obviously your success rate and have testimonials. Tell me how you get repeat business from clients and or use your success to get new clients.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Every client that comes to us always typically says, "Hey, I'll start with a couple reps, and then once we grow and get more revenue, we grow from there."
Mhm.
So that growth usually gets based on the success we put in place
Right.
and the growth that we have. We have a client right now that started with one appointment setter on their sales floor with us. They're now to 10 reps. We have 10 physical humans dedicated to that one client. And so they've grown over the years, and they've grown over time from there. Some companies, to your point, just comes for a campaign. Hey, we have a new product launch, we have a new feature, we have a big conference that we're doing. So they come to us, and then we're doing short bursts of campaigns,
Okay.
and then they come back for more once we've proved that success
Okay.
for those successful campaigns.
So you'll get an audience for them at a conference, or you'll get an audience at them some event somewhere. So they now show up, and you've delivered that attention, whether it be streaming or in person. You've done your part to get the client to them. So
Exactly.
with that success rate, then obviously they want to come back and do more. I understand that.
100%.
So when you look at what you're doing right now and you build your sales teams, you scale your business, you've got an agency, obviously, and you're doing a podcast, it seems like, as well. Where do you find yourself most challenged as an owner in managing your time efficiently to get the best return?
Yeah, I mean, one, you have to hire great people in order for you to focus your time and attention on the business as opposed to in the business. And
Yep,
that's really
that's a
what
very
the
good
biggest
comment.
thing is. Yeah, that's the biggest thing for me is, I have an amazing chief operating officer who is really executing our deliverables for our clients.
Good.
So I don't have to spend my days like I used to back in the day when we started, in the weeds, if you will. So my focus as the CEO is doing content, things like this, to be the face of the company and to share the vision and the business model and what we do out to the world, so people can come hear from us directly. The other thing, I'm very involved in the sales process. This is a professional service. It's a six-figure investment in many cases for many clients, and those conversations, even though our sales team could do without me, usually takes me to get on to talk to the CEO of their company to make them feel comfortable and to ask
Mhm.
those big questions. So I'm involved in that last journey of the sales process. I'm doing a lot of content, and those would be the big focuses for me.
So when you get down to a point, there's a certain, as you move down the field in a football game, you get down to the 20, the 15, all right, the field is compressed. You need to make sure your quarterback is on top of their game and knows exactly to look for Justin Jefferson for the Vikings in the end zone. There you go. If you're a Vikings fan, you'll love that analogy. But
Yeah.
if you're not, then you'll understand what I'm saying. Gabe, you come in to close it. You basically get them to that point, and then you do that with the executives that you deal with. And the reason,
Yeah, we like to match it because That sales journey, there's multiple buyers, there's
Yep.
multiple stakeholders, and usually we're starting at a VP of sales or CRO level, but then it eventually hits our finance team, and then our sales team can handle that. But if it comes up to the CEO of their company,
Mhm.
I just like to match CEO to CEO. So if our sales team is a third or final call in the sales journey, and there's a CEO that's going to be present, I'm going to be on that call as a support mechanism, and we're going to have a conversation. So that's usually where I find myself to be in that sales journey.
In the majority of your sales, I would think it would end up somewhere in the C-suite, with a chief financial officer, CEO, could be chief operating officer. I would think that's who you're interacting with at the finish line, I would
Yeah.
think. Am I right?
Yeah, those big companies like ZoomInfo is a client of ours, and all over our website, $2 billion publicly traded company. The VP of sales would absolutely be the final decision maker on a
Okay.
partnership like ours. But if you're looking at a mid-market company that, is doing 20, $30 million a year, the CEO is on the phone with us for sure. That's how impactful and much of a big investment this would be for that company.
Well, of course, you're a reflection of them. You're an extension of
Yeah.
them. So you got to feel
Correct.
comfortable that if you're going to represent them, you better be able to make sure you can sell that to them. Otherwise, you got a challenge.
I always say, yeah, I always say if they're not on there, that causes concern,
Yeah,
right?
I'd have a bit
So
of
yeah,
concern. Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Because they're making a big investment, no doubt. But if you are them. Basically, you are their company representing them. Would I be correct?
Yes, and to be super clear, we are white labeled as well. So when we do make those calls and we are doing that outreach, it is not an alley-oop conversation.
Yeah.
It is their conversation. So when you say where are them, I mean we're literally speaking as we are communicating on their behalf.
Which
So
is
they're
smart.
yeah, yeah. So the prospect has no idea it's us, and to the prospect's eyes, it's a 100% dedicated resource.
When you think about the challenges you guys have, part of it is absorption of the knowledge of the company you're representing. I would
Yeah.
think you've got to go through a process with your team on, okay, we have to do our research. We have to understand the market these guys are in. How much time is invested in doing that with your organization?
28 days. We do a 30-day deep dive and training period. So it's not a light switch, right? We're not just saying, okay, we're going to send emails tomorrow and
Mhm.
write some emails, get those approved, and start sending. This is a much more, like you mentioned, in-depth knowledge base that's required. And so we do a 30-day onboarding slash training segment to feel comfortable. And of course, we are learning as we are building the plane as well, just like anyone would be
Sure.
that would be new to a company. So we review every single call. Every single call is shared with our clients. They're very involved in under looking under the hood. Everything's transparent. They see everything we see. We hide nothing. And that's a big piece of why clients are very happy with how we do it, because we are showing the good, bad, and the ugly, and we're
Mhm.
learning as we learn. So that's how we do it.
Well, in addition to that, I would think, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, there are compliance related factors that also come into play, which gets into legality of your side, their side, make sure everyone crosses their T's, dots their I's. Um, that can be time consuming and also a critical part. How do you guys, is that part of your 30-day process in that 28 days? You go through all those components and get ready?
Yeah, I mean, we're going, NDAs before we even get to the last sales cycle, before we even sign contracts. We're going through if it's a SOC 2 compliant, if it's a specific, certification that we need to have. Pretty much all of them are ready. But if there's a situation where from, any type of risk or exposure to the company, we go through all that with legal. And then, of course, yes, everything has to be very structured in regards to our messaging. So every single word, every single message that we have on all of our scripts, on our objection handling guides, those are all pre-approved, and
By
our
the
reps have.
company.
Yes, exactly.
Interesting. I mean, I love your model, and it leads perfectly into the name of your company because you do everything all this right. I mean, you've gone through all the challenges, and now it's just basically finish off and get the dunk. I mean, or spike the ball in the set in a volleyball. So, what are your
Right.
biggest challenges you face as you look at growing your market, the balance of this year and in the next year and in the future? Where do you see your challenges?
Well, I think right now with the advent of AI, a lot of companies are trying to shortcut or try to automate things. Maybe they're going above and beyond that needs to be
What
automated.
needs to be
Like,
done?
yeah. So for instance, I've seen people literally just fire their entire appointment setting team and try to replace it with just AI messaging, and then it backfire immensely. Now, am I an AI advocate? The answer is yes. We use AI in everything we can possibly use it in. But when it comes to the actual communication part, that's where we feel human. The human is so important. I mean, look at it from this perspective. Could we create a Dennis AI and a Gabe AI that does a podcast together? Yes, we probably could.
Mhm.
Would people wanna watch it? Maybe not. It's not as as powerful as you and I communicating
I
right
would
now.
tend to agree, and you're right, but I get your point. I love it when I get in my business constant emails that say, "Here's what we can do, and AI will help, and we don't even need to have a Salesforce." And I just go, "Oh, are you kidding me?" I mean,
Right.
first, you should know who you're sending it to. That's number one. But number two, I disagree. It's the human factor still is critical in relationships. It isn't necessary for prospecting. You can maybe get some raw data, you can get some information, but that last piece, like you have to finish with the C-suite people, that's personal. It's not you can't program that yet, and I think you've probably gone through, could I do a Gabe AI? And I've had people approach me to do that, and I go, No, because what I do is instinctive. Like, you can't program, and I don't care how many times they listen to me and how many hours I spend giving them things, they're not gonna get that, and you probably feel the same way with your Salesforce. You can't AI your Salesforce at this stage that I'm aware of. So, when you look at it, you guys really have built something I think is pretty unique, and your platform on the distribution, that 40-20-40, and how you get your business in, it's smart because you're not tied to one channel. That's
Yeah.
critical. So besides the AI, what other challenges do you see growing your revenue and your business?
Well, I think to the people side, right? Just as much as there's challenges right now with AI, there's also just as much challenges with people. There's a 900,000 open sales jobs on LinkedIn and Indeed right now. So finding
Wow.
phenomenal people is definitely a challenge. I mean, people are seeing that across every industry. But then once you find someone, retaining them and training them and providing them the tools and equipment they need to be successful quickly, and that's where I think AI is a grand slam, right? We've created a tool that is literally every single thing we've ever done as a company the last 18 years and every client we've ever served, we put that all into an AI engine. And it
Wonderful.
is literally like my brain on AI. And then our sales reps, instead of asking me, hey, have we ever worked with a company that did this, this, and this? It can even ask that. And not only will it say, yes, we did, we can tell them what we did, how it
That
was,
is
what
true.
happened, and give the exact history. So it's a great source for onboarding reps and training them up to be at a level that is acceptable. But it's always a challenge, right? To find those great people and then get them leveled up as fast and quickly. And yeah, that's always been a challenge, always will be, I think.
And will be forever, I think. How do you source for your people to sell?
Well, the good thing is that we have a huge presence on LinkedIn. And
Yeah.
again, ironically, the same way we look for prospects is the same way we look for candidates.
Okay.
So we're looking for people that want to work here. We offer great incentives, great financial packages, a work from home environment, and phenomenal training. So those are the things that we deliver on to attract people to our company. And we do a lot of recruiting on LinkedIn as well as Indeed.
Well, when you look at it, Gabe, you and I have now had a good chat for over 25 minutes. We've learned a lot about each other, I think, and I really admire your business model. I'd like to know more about you have a podcast.
Yeah.
Tell me about what your podcast does. Besides
So it's called
interview, go ahead, please.
Yeah, it's called Do Hard Things, and the theme is highly intentional, and it's really about interviewing founders, and we just don't go about what they're doing today, but what they actually had to do to get there.
Okay.
And we try to really unpack the struggles, the failures, the pitfalls, the things to get around, to get through, or get over, to see that ultra success. So we really like bringing on people who were, I like to say, from zero to hero,
There
right?
you go.
They started in a humble beginning and they built something of significance, and we kind of peel back the onion to figure out how they did it. And that's what we have done on the show. We've had a lot of fun with it.
Well, obviously, you follow the model, and you're 11 years old selling T-shirts. So you went to someone just trying, and all of a sudden, hot darn, I got this thing. I figured it out. This is fun. Let's make some money, man. So I love it.
Right.
Does the podcast, in your opinion, give you what you want in terms of your growth, or is it just for your customers to be educated?
Yeah, so we don't advertise on it, so we're not
Okay.
using the podcast as a money maker
Revenue
for
source, right.
endorsements or sponsorships, which I think is awesome when they do. But for us, it was really a way for us to elevate our clients, to your
Okay.
earlier point.
Good.
So if a client is coming to us for sales development, we want to say, you know what, let's get some eyes on you, let's get some content from you, and it really helps our sales development teams use that content to start conversations when we're making cold calls, and it gives them a place to say thank you for being a client. So, and usually our clients have really cool stories, so we love to ask them and
Right.
figure out what they're up to and what they're doing, and share that with the world.
Wonderful. Gabe, I've enjoyed the conversation. I think our audience will as well. How can people reach out and get more information about you and your company?
Yeah, well, on a personal level, you can reach out to me directly on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Gabe Lullo at LinkedIn, and I share content, newsletters, posts every day about what we do, industry specific. So it's not a commercial. It's really great stuff you can take away and learn from. And then our website is Alleyoop.io. Simple as that.
Wonderful. Gabe, you have a wonderful day. Thank you for your time here today.
Thank you so much for your time. This has been a blast.
All righty.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Principal Podcast. We hope you've learned valuable lessons and strategies to grow your firm and take your business to the next level. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening to this show so you never miss an episode. To apply and be a guest on the show, click the link in the description. See you next time.